Today is August 4th, 2024, Sunday morning, about 9:30 a.m. I had my coffee and we had this frozen chocolate cream pie in the freezer for a very long time. You can buy it from Walmart and keep it in the freezer, and then you can thaw it. Usually it's ready next day. Alice have been wanting to eat it for a long time. We had some restrictions on her eating in the recent months, so we didn't take it out, and then eventually last night we got it out, and then this morning we had some. I tried to live in the present when I was eating that pie. Little moments of joy, right? I still remember the taste of that pie. I know I gotta lose some weight. I'm actually 10 to 15 pounds over more than what I usually like to be. In time I'll get there. I was this morning when I got up, I was, right when you get up, our mind goes to, like how Joe Dispenza would say, that things keep rushing back to our mind from the day before and what's going on in our life, because in some way we kind of come back to the reality, right? Before then, we don't really, when we're sleeping or something, we're kind of detached from everything. Depending on what's going on in our life, we may, if I were to simplify in Buddhism concept, where you can feel pleasant, neutral, or unpleasant. Majority of the time we would feel neutral, right? Okay, it's another day. It's fine. It's not good. It's not bad. And then we can do gratitude. That'll help us to feel better. Or the thing is, the concept is that we try to think of the things that we are grateful for, even if there is nothing, where we think that it's another morning, we are able to breathe, all our senses are working. That can get us into the pleasant moment. But when life is painful, a lot of challenging things going on, we may feel that we are here, we are in that unpleasant situation, and still we have to think of the neutral feelings, right? That's the key, that mind might go here, but what can we do to keep our mind more here so that eventually it transforms to the pleasant moment? So this morning when I woke up, I started thinking what Dalai Lama said in the book of joy that I am reading, one of the books that I'm reading. I'm right now reading a lot of different books, but I do it at different days, at different times, because I can't keep up with reading all of them. But I read them here and there because those are very meditative type of experience, some positives that keep my mind straight. So there's a lot going on in my mind, so sometimes I kind of take a deep breath and get back into talking. I think I have to train my mind a little more. Anyway, so where I was going with it is, so Dalai Lama's book, where he said, where the question was asked to him, that how does he, when he gets up in the morning, how does he find joy? And he had a couple different responses, and if I remember them correctly, he said, thinking of the compassion and kindness, like passing that on to the world, that makes him feel good. It's another nice day, it makes him feel good. And Dalai Lama, being such a big spiritual teacher, he always talks about, he considers himself as one of 7 billion people. I mean, now it's 8 billion people in the world, but one of 8 billion, if we were to say. Imagine how in our life, and that's like getting our ego to get down to zero, right? I mean, he is such a big spiritual power. But if he's saying that I'm just one of 7 billion people, we all are brothers, sisters, and we can learn from that, right? So he says that, and then he says he thinks of how can he help others to feel better, to feel happy, and even if we can make other people feel happy, at least don't harm them. So yeah, I was contemplating that, and I thought it was good because it kind of got my mind off of other things. And sometimes I think that's the thing, that you gotta feed. Okay, I use the two sides, right? So this is the mind, that as soon as you get up, the challenging part, because this is our 70%, 90%, wherever, the three main emotions are negative, which is a subconscious mind. And actually I'll simplify it, like, to keep it simple: subconscious and the conscious mind. Our mind goes on autopilot. As soon as we wake up, it goes to, it wants to go there. It's like a magnet. It's really like a magnet. So you have to work hard so the mind stays here, and the here is the positivity and the God, trusting in God, faith, belief, all of that you have to remember. Then the mind tends to stay here. Bob Proctor once said that faith and fear can't coexist in our mind. So fear is this and faith is this. So our job is to push our mind, remind ourselves to go to the faith, not fear. The interesting part is I always think about, what is that thing? What is that thing that is in our mind that controls where the mind should go, right? Because they say that when there's a conscious, this is subconscious, but what is that in between thing, right? There's that unconscious mind, I think, in some sense, or in Buddhism they would say there's this unconscious mind. It's like, it's way deep, it's deeper than the subconscious. And when, based on our experience in life, what's going on, those deeply rooted seeds, and we all have those seeds, good seeds, bad seeds, we all have them. It's like a different personalities, and depending on what is getting watered, that's what comes out in the subconscious versus conscious. And because we all want to stay conscious, we want to live a life where we are aware, we know what's going on, we are aware of each and every action that we are taking. But we don't always know, we don't always even remember some of the things we do or say, or not necessarily like completely forget what we say. We remember the gist of it, but each and every word that we speak, we don't. And overall, I think some of it is normal. As human being, we we are not meant to live a conscious life from like 24/7. I mean, because if we were conscious 24/7, if we are a kind and compassionate person 24/7, then we're God, right? Because even as, like yesterday, I was saying that, so this is one of the books also I read quite a bit, Thich Nhat Hanh's The Art of Living. Him as a monk, and he was already a monk for a while when his mom died. Generally, monks, they know how to work with the detachment, and even he went to deep depression after his mom died, and he felt abandonment. So if a wise monk like him, after about 10 years of being a monk, right, even if he felt that, we would feel suffering, we would feel pain, we would feel sadness, right? And some of the folks in the channel, you said, be kind to yourself, like to myself as I make these videos. And then they also said that I'm helping by making this video, and thank you so much. A person named Nadine Smith, I think. I don't know if I said your name correctly. If you see this video, please feel free to correct me. Nadine Smith, thank you so much. It means so much to me to see people supporting me, being kind to me, and that reminds me so much of the niceness and the kindness of the humanity, right? We don't know each other, but we are all connected as human. Sometime in life, we go through experiences, and each and every experience that we come through, it shapes us in a certain way. Some may shape us in a good way, some may make us more anxious, some may make us more worried. Ultimately, they say that it is up to us how we take it, right? All the challenging experiences in our life are our teachers. I heard that in one of the YouTube videos, from some random YouTube videos, and it really hit me hard in a good way. It was a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and I thought that was such an amazing way of looking at it, right? Because every single day there will be things that we don't fully agree with, or we may not like something. But then if we think that, why don't I like that, or why is it bothering me, and then we can work on ourselves, right? But at the same time, not to the point that each and every little thing we get so bogged down that it takes away our happiness, right? And that's where the balance comes from, that we got to do it in a balanced way. Because if we feel criticized, if we feel judged, or if we feel blame, and if we try to work on every little thing on a daily basis, it'll make us tired. It'll make us feel like we need to be perfect. We don't need to be perfect. And for every different person, the definition of perfection is also different, right? So many quotations and so many things that I read come to my mind when I talk about these things, because I'm big into self-help. I have been reading and listening self-help things for a long time. I went deep into it maybe in 2018. I had some health challenges back then for a few years until I got fully healed, fully cured. So yeah, that was physical challenge. Anyway, bad acid reflux, so I can say that bad acid reflux, and then eventually it got cured after many different things I tried. So that is when I started getting very deep into self-help and reading and watching the YouTube videos and listening to their books, Joe Dispenza, Tony Robbins, you name it, Deepak Chopra, so many more. And those helped me, really helped me. They still do, At different times, and different person resonates, but and their different messages resonate, but they still do. These days, I think I still, since I started, since last December 2023, I still very deeply follow the Buddhism teaching and the other things too I do, but it's if it resonates with you, it gives peace. I was reading this today again. I was reading it yesterday. Disentangling yourself. I don't know why I couldn't read that word. Entangling yourself, right? So when you're so entangled with things, we have to kind of take a step back and untangle ourselves with things and letting go. I was reading the page about letting go, and this is in other books also. He has, and in Buddhism has a lot about letting go, and letting go sometime depending in our life, because the same message can mean different things, and messages are not necessarily given directly. It's the same message, and we interpret it the way we see it based on what's going on in our life. Sometimes the letting go could mean that the letting go of the emotion, the challenges, and the bad feeling, or anger, or hatred, or jealousy, or judgment, whatever that may be, right? It could be just the emotion. Sometimes letting go could mean letting go a place. Sometimes letting go could mean people. Sometimes letting go could mean a job. It could mean different things. So whatever most resonates with us is what we interpret, right? So even in my own life at different times, I think that letting go would mean different, but and deep inside you, you would know what it is. When the time is right, you'd feel how it is resonating. And then there's this transforming suffering, right? Because that is one of the biggest key to happiness. Because in our life, even in Buddhism, when they say there are three emotions, pleasant, neutral, and unpleasant, the unpleasant emotions are always going to be there. The suffering is always going to be there. It's all about how we transform it. And sometimes just remembering that in time it will transform. So Thich Nhat Hanh has this book. I have that book over there. It's called No Mud, No Lotus. So the lotus flower grows in a mud, and he says that the flower cannot grow without the mud. And it's a cycle, because when the flower becomes a flower, it stays as a flower only for a certain time, and then it becomes a compost, and that is the mud. And then that same mud eventually from the compost, it comes out and becomes a flower, because everything is interconnected. Like, I used to say that in the past I actually didn't like rain as much, and then now I like rain. It's a weird, odd concept, but why I like it is I was explaining it to somebody yesterday, um, that when it comes to the constants in life, I think about the sun, the moon, the cloud in the sky, the tree. I'm looking outside through the window as I say it. The tree, Mother Earth, the water, the air that we breathe, the constants that we have in our life. So in Buddhism, the concept of cloud, uh, I had some texts there, so I was just looking up. The concept of cloud is very common. So meaning it our thought, especially the challenging thoughts, just let it go like a cloud, right? If we can do that, then life becomes less painful. And then also the cloud sometimes helps us with, when the cloud covers the sun, it creates shades, and the same cloud turns into rain, and then that rain eventually, the waters, the earth, then the trees grow. It's good for the vegetation, and then eventually it becomes and goes back as a cloud. So yeah, I don't know, it's that interconnectedness or something, maybe that. It's hard to explain, but I like right now. Yeah, so I don't know, these are my random talks related to mindfulness. I also consider this time as like my meditative experience. Some may think it's weird, some may think it's good. I don't know. So I do it. So this is also a constant that I'm trying to keep in my life. I started on May 27th, the Memorial Day weekend. That was a Memorial Day. I have been thinking since March, but then kept getting pushed because of doctor's appointment and whatnot. But then that day I was like, okay, no matter what, I'm gonna start. And thank God that I continued, because it gives me some sort of peace. It's hard to explain, but some sort of peace to, I don't know, to reflect on life, and it gives me some sort of healing. And yesterday somebody said it in a comment, and I'm going to respond to all of your comments today, that crying can be healing. So yeah, that's true. A friend of mine used to say that. I actually forgot about that, but when the person commented, it reminded me of that. And I needed a lot of healing. I still do, because a lot happened in life, especially late last year, and I'm overcoming that. Life is still not as the storm is not over yet, but I'm getting there where I'm figuring out the tools to that helps me now, and hopefully will help me even in the future, to go through the challenging situations in life. Because at different times we have different challenges, right? In 2018, when I had that health challenge, it was different. And when I look back, it does give me a lot of strength. But the challenge I was facing back then and the challenge I faced late last year is a lot different. I had some challenges because this time I'm feeling multiple different angle. But then, in life, somebody said once that, actually Mark Cuban, who said that, I'm a big fan of him, but that one thing he said I thought was really interesting. You just have to I think he said it from startup standpoint that only one startup has to work when people try multiple, which I also tried in my life once or twice. When you try multiple startup, only one has to work, right? So same thing. I think this thing about getting back up, maybe he said or somebody else said. Anyway, the point is, the message is, you only have to get back up one more time than you fell down. And the message kind of makes it a little easier to like getting back up, because when you fall down, getting back up is hard. But you just have to remember that you fall down, you get back up, you fall down, you get back up. And every time as you fall, you have to remember that as long as your focus is on the transformation, as long as the focus is on like, okay, how can I get to my better version? Usually it's a upward curve. It doesn't go like that, but it goes up and down, but it goes towards up. But if we don't get back up, it keeps going down. So, and the good thing is then when we keep getting back up, it makes us strong. It makes us happy. It makes us there will be temporary setbacks, but all the happiness, getting back up, resilience, strength, all is in this side. It's the conscious side. It's the good side, right? So you have to remember to stay on the good side, to water and nourish the good things. We have to be resilient. We have to be strong. We have to be determined, because the other side is more suffering, right? And one of the most important thing they would talk in all different religion, they would talk in is about having a community, the community who would help you to be a better person, who would show you the good in you, who would also show you the challenges in yourself that you can work on. And you would know if this is the right support group for you, because you would feel it. Nobody has to tell you. You would just feel it. And that's what I felt. I have this very nice group of friends. They bring the very good out of me. They bring very good out of me at the same time. Very good friends. I have a friend of 20 years where they'll tell me where I can improve, and I take it in a positive way, and that helps me, because that helps me grow. Now, if I always push it away, if I say that, no, say only good to me, that doesn't work, right? Because we all have things that we can work on. And at the same time, when somebody gives us feedback, it's up to us that it's not that we have to work on it on overnight. We know that, okay, this is something that I work on that can make my life better if I do this. And I just do it, right? So having a good community, good support system is important. And we are all human beings. So like my family is in India, so I don't have much support from them because of the distance, the time difference, or my lifestyle is very different. I'm in my 40s. I left my small town India and back when I was 18. So my lifestyle and their lifestyle is very different. It's hard for me to understand the things that day in and day out that happens there. It's hard for them to understand the things that happens here day in and day out. So for day-to-day support, I had to find my very good friends who I can reach out to. And the big part of that is also remembering the Dale Carnegie book I read, How to Influence People and Make Friends, How to Make Friends and Influence People. So the book name could be a little misleading, but that they explain in the book that it was about, the book was written in 1937, so about 100 years ago. So that time you had to make friends to do business or anything. So anyway, so the concept is it's actually in some way I kind of I was Googling the other day if Dale Carnegie book was based on Bible or Christianity or something. Because it's all about kindness, being kind to people, being nice to people. That's it. And which religion doesn't say that, right? Buddhism says that, and I'm pretty sure other religion also focuses on being kind to people, right? I mean, you can never go wrong with being kind to people. And I say this to my daughter Alice, and I try to say it to myself too. It is easy to be kind to people who are kind to us. The real test is to show the kindness to people who are not kind to us. And trust me, I say it, but I can't also follow that through always, but I try, because Desmond Tutu said that, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, that spiritual leader, that our kindness grows when it's tested. So if we are kind to the people who are already kind to us, then we are just doing what's easy to do. What's easy to do does not help us grow. It's a comfort zone thing, right? It keeps us in the comfort zone. So when we do even a little bit beyond our comfort zone, that is when we really grow, right? So you gotta try. So I talk about progress from the day prior. So yesterday, considering many things, I think I did pretty decent. There were situations where I think I managed very good. And at one point I went to the gym, and what really helped me was the Book of Joy. So sometime, again, like I was saying, what is that thing other than the conscious mind and subconscious mind? And sometimes we know that we want to live the conscious mind, but what all can we do to get there is so hard to even remember. I have a lot of this printed here, the conscious mind, subconscious mind, and stuff like that. But even then I forget. Sometimes that unconscious mind just takes over, right? So we got to remind ourselves things that we can do. So yesterday, one thing that came to my mind was that, okay, reading that book, I have a bunch of these books, that generally, mostly, I would say 80-90% of the time, if I kind of push myself to read these books, it gets my mind in a good place in 10 minutes. Oh, the clock shows there 10:10. Yeah, it's an angel message. I believe in the repeat numbers that comes from Abraham Hicks. She talks about the repeat numbers, that angel is kind of it's kind of affirming that, yeah, what I'm saying is the right thing, or I'm on the right path, something like that. So just got my water. So I just gotta remember that when it's going to the gym, or just going out to do a little thing, I don't know, like go to the library, doing some, best thing is to do some positive action, even if not positive, even if we do a very neutral action, even neutral physical action, that helps to change our mind. So just got to remember that. And whatever works for you, if you write it down sometime, I have written it down, it's my computer, I probably should write those down, excuse me, and print it and put it on a wall, so that I do that more often. Anyway, so yeah, I made progress from, like, if I were to say yesterday, yeah, there was a progress. And every day, if we are authentic to ourselves, every day, even if we make little progress, a year from now, we will be a better version of ourselves. We will be a different version of ourselves, because we are evaluating ourselves. Oops, something fell down. We are evaluating ourselves in a good way, right? And that is important, because if we keep moving ahead in life and we are not looking at it from any angle, we'll always live in the autopilot. And living in autopilot is not only um, challenging for ourselves, but people around us, for them also is challenging. And ultimately, the happiness doesn't come from when we are in autopilot. And the challenging part is when we are in autopilot, most of the time we don't realize that we are running from the subconscious. So anyway, so I'm glad what I was able to do yesterday. And I have a little funny weird calendar here. You guys probably seen that video. Sometimes I'm going to show it here today. So this is a weird calendar thing I have here. And since I started this practice, so I'll explain what it is. I mark on the calendar the next morning, like today's, I will mark tomorrow morning, how the day was, meaning how nobody else around me, how I did. So if I did good, if I had, not that I didn't have any negative emotions, but if I did not react, I circle it. If I responded in a challenging situation, I circle it. And if I look at it, where I started in May to June, I did better. And from June through July, I did even better. Not to brag, not to say anything wrong or right, because if somebody else looked at it, their perception might be different. But I know that I want to transform myself. I want to become the best version of myself. So I have to be authentic. If I am not, I'm not going to be able to transform myself. Because in November, when things went really crazy, I don't know how else to say it. There is two ways to go from a rock bottom. You can keep going down, or you can go up, because you kind of go down and then you can bounce up. My focus in life had always been, when I'm at the bottom, I have to look for ways, how can I go up? And the interesting thing is, the way to go up is to let the ego go, right? Our ego shows up in many different ways, many different ways. It's not just simple, like when if people are showing off, I don't know, their expensive car, that could be a simple way to see their ego. But there's so many other ways ego shows up. And sometimes we may even do it unknowingly. Ego, in Buddhism, Thich Nhat Hanh has in his book that ego is simply saying that I'm better than you, or my opinions are better than yours, or something like that. Not only that, they even consider, when you say that I am equal to you, even that is also an ego. That is a little weird, but it's the concept, I guess. But there is a saying that, let's say if you're in a conflict with somebody at home, at work, or with friends, anyway, do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy? That is even in Dale Carnegie book, just written in a little different way. Sometimes, depending on the situation, I think it's okay to talk about what the points why we think we are right. At the same time, if it is causing a lot of tension between the relationship and whatnot, in the long run, I guess it is important to remember what matters in the long run. And Thich Nhat Hanh book, he talks about 100 years from now. In another part, he said even 300 years from now, none of us are going to live. 300 years from now, we all will be ashes. To remind that we all come with an expiry date. And that's the thing that I started saying, the expiry date. I have a picture over there that I got from Amazon. It's a picture of a galaxy where there are many galaxies. Some are from very far away, small. And on that picture, our little Earth probably is microscopic. Not even part of the picture, or even if it is, it'll be like a so tiny dot. Can't even see. And if our Earth is like that, imagine what we are. Right? So it is to remind myself that everything is so insignificant in a good way, because we make everything, as a human being, it's a habit energy that causes to think us that everything is so important. A year from now, we would not remember what we did on August 4th. We won't even remember a week from now what we did today. But we cling on to it, we hold on to it so tight, we want to make everything right. And that is what causes suffering. Right? So to let go of suffering, there are so many ways. We know, we understand, but we don't do it, right? Just letting go is one of them. Letting go is one of them. And in the book of Joy, yesterday I read, when we are going through pain, one other ways to focusing on others' pain and kind of trying to help them if we can in any way, or just listen to them, right? That will help us with our own suffering. And sometime with that, what also happens is, I think, is that you feel that you're not alone. We all in this life, in Buddhism, there is a saying that life is suffering. And sometimes I think that is kind of, it can get taken out of context. Some people I see in the comments, and in Buddhism channel, the monk also explains that Buddha didn't say that life is suffering and that's all there is. There is more to it, but there is suffering, and there are ways how we can lessen our suffering. By doing different things. And that's the teaching of the Buddha, like where he meditated for 6 years and reached enlightenment, and then he taught his disciples how to suffer well. And that means when in the midst of suffering, how you can focus on the good that is going on in your life, how to remember that everything is impermanent, that the suffering also will transform, like the mud transforms to a lotus flower. And the reminder that for the lotus to grow, there has to be mud. Without the mud, sorry, there's something in my head. Without the mud, the lotus can't grow. And it's interesting, this also actually reminds me, I know I'm kind of going in a tangent, in a weird tangent. If you have watched Star Trek, my favorite Star Trek, I would say the Voyager, probably because the captain is lady, a woman. I don't know, and there are other reasons too why I like 7 of 9, Chakotay, Tom Paris. I know it's a weird tangent, But anyway, where I was going with that is um, the original Star Trek, where not Picard, but Captain Kirk. I think it's the season 1, episode 5 or episode 6, where there's two versions of Captain Kirk. And when I say two versions, it's literally one is that nice and kind, another is like the bad and strong and forceful. And in that episode, it shows that how both are necessary. Because if he had only that, he didn't know how to manage the difficult situations, how to make decisions, how to persevere, how to go through those difficulties, whereas this version knew that. So it's the tamed version of this, and this together is what made a perfect captain. I would say that is probably, if not my most favorite, and that the original series, the Captain Kirk, that is not even my favorite Star Trek. The Captain Picard ones also probably I like more than this one, but anyway, I have seen several Star Trek episodes and movies. So out of all of that one episode resonated so well with me. In some way, I think the Buddhism teaching and that kind of relates, because you need both. You need both, because if you become only that, I don't know, it's like living a life of a doormat. You don't want to be that, because some of this is necessary, because the world is going to walk over you if you want to be all that, and you're going to become a people pleaser, right? And that's not good either, because when you become a people pleaser, it causes sadness, suffering, resentment. And so some of this is necessary. So like how Thich Nhat Hanh would say that that mud is necessary because lotus can't grow on a marble. He literally says that in books. So in our life, when there is anger, resentment, jealousy, hatred, a lot of those emotions are not good. But we can't help it. It's there. The seeds are there in all of us. So what we have to figure out a way is not to water them first thing, but all of us, the way we grow up, all of us, in several books I read, when we grow up, some of those seeds gets watered. It could be at home, it could be at school, it could be playing with friends, whatnot. And then those seeds stays dormant in our mind. And eventually, as we grow up, different experiences happen in life that is not in our control, and that can trigger the same emotion that was triggered when we were growing up, when we first learned of those experiences. So when we know how to handle it, we can transform it, because there is no way to completely shut it off. There are a few ways. One is not shutting, but like focusing, training our mind to focus on the good, then the bad kind of fades away. Another way is to kind of, from the bad, you kind of look for the positive in it, and then it transforms, right? So every time you do that, it transforms. So those are the things I keep learning from different books, and I kind of try to teach myself, try to transform myself to become the best version of myself. Because in life, everybody would say that on our deathbed, we don't want to regret for the things we didn't do versus the things we did. And one of the things is that did we learn all the lessons that we could learn in this life? Because when we learn the good lessons and then we experience it, that gives us happiness. And there's this study by Robert Waldinger, his name is. He's on YouTube. I think he has like TED Talk, 17 million or maybe more views. There's the longest study done in Harvard, 75-year long study. And the study was about what makes people happy. And it was all about relationship. And relationship is about feeling, communication. So if we are feeling good, we spread positivity. We have good relationship with our people around us, all the people. And if we are feeling bad and we have bad relationship with people around us, so it's kind of a catch-22 thing. So when you feel good, you have good relationship, and that's what keeps you happy. And the same thing, when you have bad relationship, that can make you feel bad. So it's kind of catch-22 thing, right? So, and relationship is always with another person, and you can't control that person. Either it's your family or friends or coworkers, but our feeling is what we can control, meaning we can go take a positive action. We can go do volunteering. That could make us feel better. We can go help somebody. That can make us feel better. We can go read a positive, uplifting book. That can make us feel better. So when we do that, chances of us having that good relationship is better. So, because we can only change ourselves, we can't change others. Only way to change others or influence, we can influence them, we can't necessarily change them, we can influence them, is by the way we respond in challenging situation. And again, when we respond good in a good situation, that's like staying in the comfort zone. But when it's a challenging situation for two people, and then we let our ego go, and we think of, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? We want to be happy, and that comes from thinking what's good for the long term, right? What's good for the long term, and we don't always remember that, but remembering that could be a key in a tense situation, at work, at home, with friends, at the grocery store, or whatever, right? A friend of mine talks about that if it doesn't matter in 5 years, don't think about spending more than 5 minutes thinking about it. And I thought it's so profound. So that's why I say to myself a lot to not stress on things more than 5 minutes if it doesn't matter in 5 years. Oh, am I always successful doing that? No, I'll be honest. But I'm trying. It's so funny that I don't know any of you who watch this video, because all the people who subscribed, only literally 2 people I know. Rest of them I don't know. And it feels like from the comments and folks who are coming back to watch the video that I'm building this relationship with you guys. I don't know, it's maybe that's that invisible energy that connects us as human. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I don't know, it feels like I talk to the camera and I talk randomly, but it feels like I'm talking to people I know, because some of you keep coming back and you comment so nicely, you encourage me, and it feels good. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It always reminds me of the kindness and the goodness of people and this earth. And I talk to Alice, my daughter, always about it, about the kindness. Sometimes she's very kind, and sometimes she can be 8-year-old, where especially when she doesn't like the things I cook and she doesn't want to eat, which is a lot of time. She's a picky eater. But, as an 8-year-old, that's a normal thing to do. Okay, so I've talked for a long time, so I'm gonna take a few deep breaths and use my other senses to get into the present moment. And after that, I'll do my mantra and finish my video. I'll be meeting with a friend for coffee this afternoon. It's Alice's best friend, Mom. We are also becoming friends, which is awesome. And later in the day, I might make 1 or 2 video. I don't know. I'll try my best to live in the present even when I meet my friend, because I'm thankful that I have these few good friends that I can really count on, and it's nice to have. If you have some friends, even if you haven't met in a long time, you haven't said hi to, reach out to them, because you never know. They might be thinking the same thing, that, oh, I want to reach out to this person. It's been years, but I didn't. And you might become again a very good friend, because late last year, when things were crazy, I reached out to a lot of friends, and then one of the very good friend, I restored communication with her, and we are again very close friend like before. Sometimes life can get busy and things happen, and we lose touch with people, but people might be thinking the same about us, that, oh, I want to reach out to her, but I don't have the time, or I don't know, she's also not reaching out to me, things like that. But then and just reach out, and no ego, no anything, because you never know who can support you in your tough time, and you can support them too, because they said that first we have to think of giving in a relationship, right? Any kind of relationship. When we give, then I think in Dale Carnegie book it says, like, when you give, then there is somebody there to lend a hand when you need something. So anyway, so let me get back to my breathing. I talk a lot. Anyway. It's relatively quiet, other than I can hear my daughter. She's watching some, I think, Taylor Swift videos on TV. I have my door closed up here and upstairs, so I hear a little bit, and outside I hear some sound. And I see all the colors of the things, and my daughter has this thing called Tubby Nugget. It's pretty funny. And she also has this pumpkin from Halloween present. I remember when she was 1 year old, less than 1. She was afraid of the big pumpkin. She was sitting next to a pumpkin, and she has this fearful look because she didn't know what it was. I have a picture of that. My little girl is growing up. She's 8.5 now. At that time, she was 9 months, 8, 9 months. I don't know why I got teary eyes. I think it's the different things in my mind. Anyway, I don't know, maybe someday I'll get into the details, don't know. Okay, taste. I remember the taste of the pie. I still have the plate over there, and my coffee. And today I drank in this coffee mug called Every Day is a Fresh Start, because I really am trying to remind myself that every day is a fresh start. In fact, every moment is a fresh moment, new beginning. We just have to remind ourselves of that. So, um, sorry, I'm getting distracted a little bit today here and there with many different kind of thoughts going on in my mind. Life still has a lot going on. Temperature is not too cold, not too hot. And sometimes this is what we gotta do. I feel the fabric. We have to kind of force ourselves to get to the present moment, because our mind will keep trying to go to the past or to the future. And this is where the subconscious is trying hard to take us to the past or to the future. But we gotta push ourselves to be here. And like somebody said in the comment that, be kind to yourself. And of course, you want to be kind to yourself. At the same time, we have to figure out a way to be there, right? Which is why I make these videos, which is why I try to read the books and go meet friends. With friends, sometime I pray, I trust in God, I surrender to God. That's my way to overcome challenging situations and emotions. And in a midlife, they say there are two ways people come out of the midlife crisis. One is when people, I don't know, buy expensive things, convertibles and whatnot. And some other people try to find themselves through mindfulness and asking, who am I? Why am I here on this earth? So I fall on the second category. I'm trying to discover myself and get to the better version of myself, trying to transform myself and enjoying the little things in life. Yesterday I made the video where Alice and I played for just 15 minutes, snakes and ladders, and it was so much fun. I did not think of the past, I did not think of the future, and it was just that. It was so nice and peaceful. She and I used to read Thich Nhat Hanh book before bed. I'm trying to get there again where we do that, because that was so peaceful. That was the most peaceful time out of whole day. Somehow we got out of that habit, so if we can get into that again, it'll be nice. So peaceful. Okay, so I'm gonna do my mantra, this part, and again I touch my mantras with my body part. That kind of helps, I noticed. I accept and I surrender to God. I trust in God. I speak only positive, kind, uplifting words. Love, peace, harmony, joy, happiness, patience, letting go of all the challenging emotions from the past and present. Be in the present moment, kind, forgive, and find the positives in every situation and in everything. I hope you have a wonderful day and rest of the weekend, and until the next video, bye. It's a long one. Bye.